Dom Casmurro by the Brazilian writer Machado de Assis, an 1899 novel written in Portuguese. And I'm going to read from the first part of this first chapter, entitled Do Título, about the title, in which the main character Dom Casmurro explains why he's calling his book Dom Casmurro, explains the title, which is basically his nickname, meaning Don Gloomy, Mr. or Sir Gloomy. So I'll read one time in Portuguese and then do a line-by-line English translation. Uma noite destas, vindo da cidade para Engenho Novo, encontrei no trem da Central rapaz aqui do bairro que eu conheço de vista e de chapéu. Cumprimentou-me, sentou-se ao pé de mim, falou da lua dos ministros e acabou recitando-me versos. A viagem era curta e os versos pode ser que não fossem inteiramente maus. Sucedeu, porém, que como eu estava cansado, fechei os olhos 3 ou 4 vezes. Tanto bastou para que ele interrompesse a leitura e metesse os versos no bolso. Continue, disse eu, acordando. Já acabei, murmurou ele. São muito bonitos. Vi-lhe fazer um gesto para tirá-los outra vez do bolso, mas não passou do gesto. Estava amuado. No dia seguinte, entrou a dizer de mim nomes feios e acabou alcunhando-me Dom Casmurro. Os vizinhos, que não gostam dos meus hábitos reclusos e calados, deram curso à alcunha, que afinal pegou. Okay. So it says, uma noite destas, one night these. So one of these nights, meaning like one of these days, but the night's version. So recently, so a few nights ago, or recently, one night. Vindo, coming, da cidade, from the city, para to o Engenho Novo. The Engenho Novo is the neighborhood. It's an area of Rio de Janeiro where this story takes place. Encontrei, I found or I ran into, no trem da Central, on the train of the center, so on the central train, rapaz, a young man, aqui, here, do bairro, here from the neighborhood, que, that eu conheço, that I know, de vista, by sight, e de chapéu, by hat. So, a few nights ago, coming from the city to Engenho Novo, I ran into, on the central train, a young man here in the neighborhood, a young man that I know by face and by hat. Cumprimentou-me, he complimented or he greeted me. Sentou-se, he seated himself, ao pé, at the foot de mim, at the foot of me. Falou, he spoke, da lua, of the moon, e and dos ministros, of the ministers, e and acabou, ended up recitando-me, reciting to me versos. So he greeted me, sat himself at my feet, or in front of me, falou da lua dos ministros, spoke of the moon and the ministers, which means he blabbered on, e acabou, ended up, recitando-me, reciting me verses. A viagem, the trip, was curta, short, e and os versos, the verses, pode ser, it could be, possibly, que, it could be that, não, not, fossem, they were, so they were not, referring to the verses, inteiramente, completely, entirely, maus, bad. So the trip was short, and the verses, it's possible that they were not entirely bad. Sucedeu, it happened, porém, however, que, that, como, because, or as, Eu estava, I was, cansado, tired. Fechei, I closed, os olhos, the eyes, 3 ou 4 vezes, 3 or 4 times. So it happened, however, that as I was tired, I closed my eyes 3 or 4 times. Tanto bastou, it was enough, it was such that, para que, that, ele interrompesse, should or would interrupt a leitura, the reading, and metesse, put, os versos, the verses, no bolso, in the bag. So it happened that because I was tired, I closed my eyes 3 or 4 times, and that was enough for him to interrupt his reading and stick his verses in the bag. Stick the verses in the bag. Continue. Disse eu, said I, acordando, waking. So continue. I said waking up. Já acabei. Already, I finished, so I'm done. Murmurou, mumbled, murmured, ele, he. So I'm done, he murmured. Mumbled. They are, the verses, muito, very, bonitos, beautiful, nice. The verses are very nice. Vi, I saw him fazer, make or to do, gesto, a gesture, para to tirá-los, take them, outra vez, another time, again, do bolso, from the bag, mas, or mais, but, não passou, he did not pass, of the gesto, the gesture. Estava, he was, amuado, annoyed or sensitive, so he's kind of sulking. So I saw him make a move to take them again from the bag, but he didn't end up making this gesture. He didn't complete the gesture. He was just annoyed. No dia seguinte, on the day following, on the next day, entrou, he entered a dizer, to say, so he started to say, de mim, about me, nomes feios, names ugly. So on the next day he started to say, ugly names about me. And acabou, he ended up alcunhando-me, nicknaming me, Dom Casmurro. So the next day he started giving me ugly names and ended up nicknaming me Mr. Gloomy. Os vizinhos, the neighbors, que that não gostam, don't like, dos, or don't like of, or don't like, meus hábitos, my habits, reclusos, reclusive, e calados, quiet, deram curso, gave course, to the alcunha, nickname, que, which, afinal, at the end, pegou, stuck. So the neighbors that don't like my reclusive and quiet habits gave course to, or continued using, the nickname, which finally stuck. Okay, I think well, I'll just point out a couple things here. Typically in modern spoken Portuguese, you don't use these reflexive and you don't use these forms where you stick the pronouns here. For example, sentou-se. This really only exists in literature. In modern Portuguese, you just say se sentou, or you don't even use this particle. This article, you just say sentou, he sat. This is how you know it's this kind of literature. kind of old literature, I guess. Let's see. I think that's it. Again, this in modern Portuguese you say, eu vi ele fazer gesto para tirar outra vez do bolso. So it's say, I saw, literally it's more like English, modern spoken Portuguese. Here you use a lot of these hyphens to connect the verbs and their articles. Another thing, people who are used to modern Portuguese probably know for nickname, apelido. But I guess this is an old way of saying nickname, alcunha. So he gets the alcunha, Dom Casmurro. Okay, that's it.